I'd like to acknowledge the fact that we have a Con Colbert here. Of course, Con Colbert is mentioned on the plaque, and he played an integral part in the operations of Emmet Hall, and was a close colleague of the Mallins. I want to introduce you now to Donald Donnelly, who recognises and who is more familiar with the Mallin family than myself. And he will introduce somebody to speak on behalf of the Mallin family, and he recognised those members of the Mallin family here. Donald Donnelly is Gaeldar Leafa, Ireland's most famous escapologist. So, Donald Donnelly.
Very much, Michal. I can hear the Corlori, Hoctadala, August Winter, Inchicore, August Hubble in the card coming, August SIPTU, Tafalcher of Gulair, an last best shield to shot, on last Starul shot, could ye on out Starul shot. I have a very brief function, that is to introduce the Mallin family and the connections. Now, all of us who have some connection with the Mallin family, we all claim great credit because we're very proud of Michael Mallin, who in fact was executed in that building that I can see from this podium. And it is unbelievable to think that here, less than 100 years later, we're now gathered here to remember all the names that are on the plaque. And I just read them: Councillor Patrick O'Carroll, William Partridge, Michael Mallin, Countess Markovich, Jim Larkin. Another name that's on that, and I would just like to share this little piece of information with you as a brief introduction to Úna Ní Callanáin, who's going to speak. That Michael Mallin was married to Agnes Hickey, and her name is up here on the plaque. And there were three sisters. There was Jane, who married Tulis, and there was Josephine, who married a man called Delaney. Some of you may remember Sissy and Lizzie Tulis, who lived on Knockmaroon Hill. And they were, the Hickeys were daughters of Joseph Hickey, the Fenian, who lived in the Strawberry Beds. So there's a great connection of the families because the Tulises and then the Delaneys became the McConnells, and there's the Boyces and the Gales and the Donnellys. And there's also here today as well Sadie Andrews and Jimmy and Sean Topley. But I just want to finish by saying that the direct descendants of Michael Mallin are here. And they are Michael Mallin, who's in the wheelchair here, of the same name as Michael, and a great role model for us all because he doesn't let this get him down. Here he is today as well, despite all the pressures there are on somebody in a wheelchair. And also here is Úna Ní Callanáin, who's going to speak, and Una is also a granddaughter of Michael Mallin. And of course there's Michael Phillips, who would be the son of Maura Phillips, who was the youngest daughter of Michael Mallin, who was born after Michael Mallin was executed. Their grandchildren are here as well. There's Eamon O'Callanáin and there's Neil O'Callanáin. So there's a great connection of they could nearly fill the Inchicore here themselves. There's so many connections. And I have a very tenuous link because I'm married to Katrina, who's a relation of, cousin of Una Mallin's. So even if Philippa can claim relationship here with Michael Mallin, and I'm very proud to do so, tenuous and all as it is. I also have the great pleasure, of course, of being a member of Conaghan and Cuiv Inchicore. So it's a great proud moment for Inchicore and all who are associated with this plaque. On a final note, I just want to tell you that Michael Mallin's son is still alive and lives as a Jesuit priest in Hong Kong, aged 98. And I got a letter, and Jack O'Connor would be very pleased and interested to hear this. I got a letter from him the other day, and he said, at least my wife did, because he writes to me in Irish, I have to use the Devine dictionary when he's still, after being, I don't know how many years, 1948 he left Ireland, he still writes Padraigh Agoni. But he wrote to Katrina a little thing, and he said, how are things in the land of the shaggy tiger? He said, and wait for it now, Jack, he said, I've no salary and I've no shares, so I'm managing. I introduce you to Úna Ní Callanáin, the granddaughter of Michael Mallin.
The recorded for part of the Brockton and Shaw, it was Gallimdeve na Academy of Norman Orange. Mar a dúirt Danny is Misha Úna Ní Callanáin agus Michael Mallin mar cheannachar. I'm very pleased to be here, and on behalf of the family I'm delighted to welcome everybody here. Actually, Danny has said everything that I wanted to say, of course. Actually, I want to thank you. I know people have been thanked, but I think...
A revolution is starting.
I want to thank the Kilmainham and Inchicore Heritage Centre, and also the people who own the property for allowing the plaques to be put up. I also want to thank the city politicians who have taken time out from their busy schedule, and also our relatives and friends. As a family, we are delighted to be here, and I speak on behalf of my brother, another grandson, and David, Michael Phillips, and also my two sons, their Michael Mallin's great-grandchildren. Naturally, I wouldn't be here if Father Joseph, Father Joe, as Danny mentioned, were here, because he would have been here instead of me. And as Danny said, he's now 98 years of age, and it's his intention to be here for 2016. He says, no, but he said to me, if he's asked. Now, this building, actually, my grandfather used to have a fife and drum band here, and he lived here over the building for quite a few years with his family, and they lived here somewhat after he was executed. They lived here also for a few years. Now, this building is, in fact, people could now include it in their tour of Kilmainham Gaol and come up here, because it's certainly a piece of history. This whole area, as you all know, is very historical. So now they will know where Michael Mallin used to live with his family. And I think it might be interesting for tourists and people who are interested in history. As I said, I wouldn't keep you very long, but I just want to comment on Mike Mallin, as he was known to everybody. He was an incredible person. He was a very special person, and he was totally involved in social justice. And he was also an extremely religious man, and who adored his family. And unfortunately, he didn't live too long to be able to see them growing up. And that's all I have to say. Yesterday,